Welcome to Live Laugh Loads, a fun podcast for gay men exploring authenticity and vulnerability.
Where we talk about gay culture, mental health, relationships, and sex. Come take a load off with me, Ryan.
And me, Dario. So sit back, strap in, and enjoy the ride. You ready?
Hi.
Hi, Ryan.
Yeah, I always think I am.
It's episode 3.
Guys, we made it to episode 3 so far. Technically episode 6.
Yeah. and this is a whole sham because we've been recording all morning, but now we're recording the beginning.
Yeah, we're working like,
Backwards.
yeah, it's a little cookie cutter timeline.
Yeah. So, we need to make that way bigger because I'm blind.
Zooming.
We're still figuring out our setup, but we have a camera.
We have
now.
camera, we got lights.
We have
We're in a fucking
phone.
studio right
We
now.
have like this hot lights, and we have our new sign, which probably some of you already seen it because I posted it everywhere. But for episode 3, we're gonna be talking about the masks that we wear, and we're calling this episode
Mask-for-masc.
and you know what that means.
Yeah, most of you.
Most of you.
90% of our target audience.
So welcome back. We're gonna get a little messy today and magical and a little hilarious.
Like we usually do.
Yeah, but we're going into the closet.
Yeah, we started coming out of the closet. Today we're going back in.
Yeah, and so we wanted to talk about the mask that we wear, and we're also going to have our first guest. And he's a 35-year-old gay man from Kentucky, and he shares about his experience about being gay. But before all of that, which is probably gonna be the second part of episode 3,
Yeah.
because it's gonna be long. I just wanted to reflect in to this concept of code switching, the concept of masks, and even for us, for Ryan and I, even though we are out of the closet, I think that there are parts of ourselves that we still hide. And I just thought that it would be a good intro, or maybe a little bit lighter, just to actually understand that being out of the closet is not a one and only event, but it's something that you do over and over and over again. Especially being gay, I think, like, every time I start a new job, I have to come out of the closet. Every time I meet new friends that may not be gay, I need to come out of the closet. And so it's not something that you do once and it's over. It's like something that you do over and over again. And then within those things too, there are still parts of myself that I hide from others. So this is going to be an episode where we reveal parts of ourselves, and I think it's kind of vulnerable, and we were just discussing to what level we feel comfortable sharing those bits. But I think, like, I think I'm ready.
Yeah. Yeah.
But to start, like we always do, let's share our thirst traps of the week so we can then tag them.
Yeah.
You
You going first?
Yes, mine. Shit, I don't have my phone. Well, his tag, his at is Marce522, MARCE522. He's a military guy. He has a mustache. I don't like mustaches. Sorry, Ryan. No offense.
We're not dating.
This guy though, maybe the first guy that I actually attracted with mustache and all. But he's from the military. He's very handsome. I don't know what his genetic makeup is.
His DNA sequencing looks like so.
I have not tried his DNA in any way, shape, or form. I'm like, wow.
Instantly, I go to like a wine tasting kind of. Here's your thirst trap DNA sampler.
He has some notes of pineapple juice.
Nutty.
Very nutty. God. Okay, now I'm
cherries.
embarrassed. Mars 522 is his handle. If you hear this by any chance, I am embarrassed, but you're very handsome and you taste like divine soup.
Yeah, we. All right, but real quick, if there was a divine soup, what kind of soup would it be?
I think it would be no, it's definitely spicy.
What's your favorite kind of soup?
Coconut. Um,
Like a butternut squashy.
no. What is
one?
that? Coconut, the curry, coconut curry.
Ah, okay. I
Yeah.
didn't. Okay, mine would
Yeah.
be like a French onion,
He,
very
he
white,
might have a little bit of Thai in him. I don't know. He has like a little like
ethnically ambiguous.
yeah. I really don't know, but he might have a little bit of Thai in him, and hopefully I can have a little Thai in me from him.
Hopefully, you can have a lot of Thai in you.
Yeah. Yeah. What is yours, Ryan?
Right.
That derails some. I don't think I ever heard your laugh so far. It's the first time, like actually, like belly laugh.
So funny.
Oh god.
I'm sweating. Mine, I had a tough time with deciding what mine was going to be this week. I had two really good options, both of them with their only initials being K and K. But this week, mine is Kevin Klatt. His handle is Casey Klatt, and I have
That's Casey.
KCKLATT. So I am a registered dietitian, a public health researcher, and I'm really obsessed with this one podcast called Check Up with Dr. Mike. And he just recently had Kevin Klatt on, who is also a registered dietitian and public health researcher, and an extremely old crush of mine from back when I was in Philly and going to fashion design school. It was so funny because I watched this episode for almost 3 hours, like on and off all day long. And all day I was like, I know that person. How do I know that person? And then finally at the end of the day, I was like sitting down and like looked him up on Facebook, and I was just like, it was so mind blowing. I was like, wow, what a small fucking world it is. Like to like here's this like little crush that I had in Philly like almost 2 decades ago, and now here you are.
Randomly found him.
And not only did I randomly, he works at UC Berkeley.
Oh, so he's here.
He works at the school that I'm probably gonna go get my master's at.
Oh shit.
Like,
Whoa.
so and the guy that there's this other guy who I just started talking to, who I hopefully get to meet. But one of our first like conversations was he's like, oh, you're the second RD that I've talked to. Like he literally had gone out on a date with Kevin. So I was like, Kevin, if you're out there and you hear this, hit me up.
It's a small community.
Yeah, I have already
dietitians.
I have already hit you.
Gay dietitians.
So now it's the ball in your court.
Ball in your core. I just want to say something about this Ryan being a dietitian. Like I just recently felt like he gave me a whole speech.
I know. I'm sorry. I know.
What was it about? Because I was like,
Your biome test.
Okay, so a year ago, guys, like the money is gone. A year ago, I got a test because I've been having, okay, I don't know. People want to know this, but I was having like some digestive issues, and I was just tired of trying things, cutting things off my diet. I went to the doctor, like he gave me like some shitty like guidance, and like it wasn't working, and so I was on Instagram, and I got one of this stupid,
your algorithm heard you complaining about your tummy issues.
for reals. Like I did two. Like I got one that was like a DNA test that came back saying like I didn't have any.
You're perfect.
Yeah, it's like you have no issues, and I'm like, that doesn't feel like
Your
the
DNA,
truth.
it comes back and it's like, go to therapy.
Yeah, your issues are only in your head. and so then
I'm just
I hope you guys can see Ryan's face now because
I'm
it's
just
so
dead at
funny.
the idea of like a DNA test coming back and in like a fortune cookie, just opening it up and being like, go to therapy.
Go to therapy. Yeah, you have to play that.
Oh, my iPhone.
Yeah. And so anyhow, then I found this other one
That's
where
not
like,
my-
oh,
I'm older than
I'm sorry. I don't have
that's fine.
that.
You're just gonna.
And then and then I got this other test where like you send saliva, blood test, and poop.
We
And
can say stool if you want to sound fancier.
I am not fancy.
Poop.
There's anything about me that looks fancy. I'm from the ghetto.
Hey, you hesitated on poop, so I just wanted to
I
give
was
you
like,
a
yeah, I don't know if
word.
people wants to really know all the details, but you know, whatever. You guys, you're part of the inner circle now, I guess.
Number
So-
2.
yeah, I mean, we're gay. We kind of have to deal with this, anyways. So anyhow, I did the test, and then he came back with the long ass list of things that I shouldn't eat. And among this list, there are things that I would never have expected to be in the do not eat list. One of them being oatmeal, the other one being eggs, and then tomatoes. And so I got those three things out of my diet. You know, most of the other stuff I already had cut out, like broccoli and cauliflower and some other Brussels sprouts, all that stuff, like I have cut out. So like it was part of that list, but I was like, okay, well, I already d- don't do those. Um, so I cut them out, and by like magic within a month, like my digestion was back to normal. And this is a problem that I have for like 10 years, like since I was in my 20s, late 20s. And it just hasn't had gotten progressively worse, you know, in those 10 years. And so like I was amazed, super relieved. But for some reason I shared that I did this test with Ryan, and Ryan did all of this research. He
I don't. I already knew. I just had to find
he
the
knew.
facts and the
he
specific
he
things.
talked to
Yeah.
ChatGPT about it. He was like literally lecturing me late at night. I was in bed and I was like, man, I don't know
I'm
what you want.
sorry I lectured you.
No, I fucking loved it. Please, anytime that you want to take care of me, you can take care of
Okay.
me.
Okay.
You're allowed to take care of me in any way you. And I saw the care and I saw the love, but it was just funny because it's like, well, I already spent whatever the amount. It was an expensive test, you guys, but I was like, I already spent that like a year ago.
Well, at this point, I wasn't even worried about you, like the monetary value. I was concerned about whatever it told you to do, like in the overall. Because
I mean, that was pretty much all of that I did. I mean, it gave me some probiotics or whatever, and I took 2 boxes. This is the third box. I didn't even finish the third box, because my digestion was better by the
yeah,
end of it. And so I was like, well, it already worked.
yeah.
So whatever it was, it worked. And so I don't eat those three things now, which is the only downfall.
Tomatoes are hard.
Tomatoes are hard, but
Tomatoes and eggs are in so much stuff.
I know. Well, so with eggs, it's only cooked eggs. I can have eggs in cakes or cookies or things that are already baked
So
in.
you can't just have raw? Or
Well,
you mean you just can't have eggs on their own?
yeah, I will not have raw eggs, but
Some
like
people do.
I used to when I was a child. Yeah, I used to like make a hole on the eggshell and then like suck it.
Interesting.
But I was in Argentina. Different
Is that normal there?
pasteurization systems are different there. So, but anyhow, I don't know. I love you, Ryan. Thank you for taking care of me. I don't know where I was going with the story. He's a dietitian. If you have any dietitian questions,
What he was saying is be careful what you say around me.
don't tell Ryan your diet.
Oh, dude. I'll try really hard not to give you unsolicited feedback. Sorry.
No, that was fine. I mean, like, and eventually we kind of sort of realized that probably the whole system is a scam, and they just give the same list of problematic foods to other people because we did discover that these three things are problematic to a
Most of
population
the
of people.
population.
Yeah, and so regardless of what it was, to me it was helpful information. So I don't mind that I pay XYZ amount of money just to
Especially given the
know
time
that.
that you were working on it.
Yeah, and, like it's just been so long, and just I was so happy and so relieved that I don't have any more pain, you know, because it was painful. That just it's awful. Like
Yeah.
just eating and then being in fear that you're gonna be in pain afterwards. It's not fun, you
Yeah.
guys. So, but I have a happy digestion now. So,
Yeah,
but we're not gonna promote that brand anyways because it seems like it's a scam.
they all are. Just so, for the record, they're all scams, guys.
Here's the PSA of the day.
There are no tests out there that can take your stool sample and tell you what you should and should not eat.
Do not believe them.
They're all
It's
scams.
all a scam.
I can tell you that the science is not there yet.
Okay.
Casey Klatt would agree with me.
um, okay, so we did our thirst traps. We talked about the mask that we wear. My first mask. I'm gonna disclose my first mask, you guys. As I think I might have said this already on some other episode, but I'm 42 years old, and I don't disclose my age online. I do not lie about it. If someone asks my age, I will say 42, but it's not on my profile. And the reason why I do that is because I feel, and I don't know if this is true or not, if it's just in my head, but I feel like every time I talk to someone that is 42 years old, they look very old. They look like they're maybe in their 60s. And so there's this association between being 42 and looking 60 that I don't personally feel
Is
that
represented.
represents me. And so I refuse to like be judged by that number. But if someone asks me my age, I never lie. I will never say that I'm less or that I look like what people tells me that I look like. I was like, no, I am 42 and I look like this. But I feel like I'm alone trying to be the person that says 42 should look better, you know. So that's my first mask. It's very light.
Yeah, we're starting light. My bigger contribution to this story will come when we're ready for heavier ones, I guess. Um, I guess I'm circling back to the question that you asked me at the end of our last episode, where you asked me what a healed version of myself looked like, and my answer, I literally said the words like being able to go out into the world and feel comfortable being myself and not feeling like I have to put on this performance or a mask to make myself more appealing to other people. Um, and I guess like it would just be that, like my mask that, but I don't know. The mask that comes up for me most often asking me to put it on is when I go out and to socialize with gay men specifically, and feeling like I
Mhm.
need to, because I don't do it with straight people. I feel like in work with my family, those are most of my straight interactions. Um, there's not that pressure. But there definitely feels like this almost pressure to like be a certain way, like with as simple as things as um like it feels weird like telling gay men that like I'm not into Drag Race, like I don't watch it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like people will get upset with you.
I just, I don't I only watched against this one guy who
Well,
really liked it, and I will just sit there and I not understand at all what the whole thing
it's
was
just not
about.
for me, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But like for example, and to speak to that kind of scenario, dichotomy, whatever specifically, like Drew was just out the other night, and it was like at a bar where they were doing like a drag showing, and what the guy asked him, he was like, "Oh, like so who's your favorite queen or something?" He's like, "Oh, I don't really watch." And then the guy was like, "Oh, so you're just here for the alcohol?" Like exactly,
Whoa,
like
that's rude.
rude as
I just don't
fuck.
understand, and I know we have another episode coming about this, but like I don't understand why gay men, first of all, assume that everybody is the same and like the same and wants the same, and are also not accepting and very rude to people that don't have the same preferences.
Yeah,
And
like
this happens on the apps a lot and it happens in real life a lot. And I'm like, can you just be aware that not everybody has to conform to your own ideas or what the majority of people are into? Like,
well, it
it's not a
threatens
hard concept.
it threatens their identity because I think that so many people similar, like they feel uncomfortable being themselves, their true genuine selves. So they're like, okay, I've assimilated, I fit in, and these are the things that I've done to fit in and assimilate. How dare you
Ooh,
say that you can function not
yeah,
assimilating?
yeah.
And so it just spends there. That's how I interpret it. I interpret it as
That's a really good read. I never really thought about it that way. It's like, oh, I got out of, that space where I didn't belong, and now I belong, but in order to belong, I have to do these things. I have to have this mannerism, which
mhm,
I also don't understand. It's like, yes, I get that there are some sassy bitches out there, they're very catty and funny at being catty, but a lot of the people that copy that behavior are neither funny or catty in a good way and end up being bitchy and
just comes off
aggressive
rude and
and
nasty.
rude. And but I see it like, oh well, you have to have these behaviors, you have to talk this way, you have to know all this lingo that I personally don't have, and I sometimes feel uncomfortable because I don't understand half of the shit that they're saying, like
Demure.
whatever they are. I don't know what they are. Like I honestly don't know. I'm not cued in.
Yeah.
And I don't care to be cued in because ultimately this expression of myself is who I am. And and it's what do I want to say? It's like a group of things that I collected over many many years, from many many circles, from many places that I loved being in, the hippies and the circus and all of this crazy shit that I have, and this is what it turned out to be.
The amalgamation.
Yes, I love that word.
Yeah, it's a
Oh
good
my god,
word.
that's a good word.
Yeah.
So anyhow, a very interesting take on that. Thank you,
Yeah.
Ryan, for enlightening me, because I also can feel more compassion too. I just recently was online, and I think, as most of you know, currently my profile is geared towards dating, and I'm not interested in hookups right now. Um, I don't judge people that are into hookups. It doesn't mean that I will not be into hookups in the future. It doesn't mean that I haven't been into hookups in the past. It's just right now what I need is not that.
Yeah.
And someone just literally went off on me because I rejected hooking up with this very beautiful person, which I made sure is like, hey, listen, you are a gorgeous man. I am so bummed, like
I
that.
wish.
Yeah, I wish I was into it. Like I wish that I could not think that after we hook up, I'm not gonna feel like shit.
Yeah.
That like that moment alone is just gonna be it for me, but it's not, because ultimately what I'm seeking for is what's coming after that. And he was like, well, why are you here? Like, you shouldn't be here. Like, this is like, this is where we all come to show the worst parts of ourselves. Like, why are you here? And and shortly after, he ended up blocking me because he didn't even want to have a conversation, apparently. But it was so revealing too about how he thought about himself and what he thought about hooking up, you know, uh, which ultimately I don't have those feelings. I don't think hooking up is the worst part of, who
Having
you are,
sex with another men, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, to me, it just signals that you want connection of some sort, and that's kind of how you're going about it. Um, but anyhow, the point being that I was essentially being pushed out a dating app that we all know which one it is, that we don't name because we don't want to promote it
The
because we
app that
don't
must
like
not
it.
be named.
The app that must not be named. Um, and so, but anyhow, it's just this idea. It's like, oh well, you're not here for the same reasons I am, so you shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
And that was so aggressive to me. I was like, I want to take space here. Sorry that it bugs you, but I'm allowed to be here. I don't know. This is just
I had a similar interaction off app with somebody who, like, I've communicated on the app before, but now we're like on social media. I see them around occasionally. But I posted a picture of myself the other day before we met up at Dolo, and he responded to the picture with, "Oh, I fucked somebody in that building before," and I just said, "Ha ha 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 ha."
my building.
No, my
Oh,
building.
your building.
It was me taking a picture before I left.
This is
Um,
a gay frat, by the way.
what?
This is a gay
The
frat.
building?
Yeah,
Yeah.
this building. So like every time everybody comes over, they say the same thing.
Yeah. So he responds to my story and says, "Oh, I fucked somebody in that building." I laugh and he says, "Too bad it wasn't you." And I said, "Maybe next time it will be upside down smiley face."
That's a nice
I was
flirt.
like, "Yeah, maybe next time it will be upside down smiley face." And then
What does the upside down smiley face mean to you? We can do a whole episode on emoji meanings.
kind of like mischievously flirty.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Wow. Okay.
Um, what was his response after that? I said, and then so I said maybe next time it will be. And then he sent me a nude,
Oh,
and
okay.
so he just sent me a nude, and then I forget. I said I'm a little bit busy for the rest of the weekend, but I'm down to hang out in the future. And he just responds with maybe, and I
Oh,
said,
okay.
let me know when you're sure. And he said,
I need to take that
I
one.
said, let me know when you're sure. And then
I don't have time for undecided.
yeah. Yeah, I can't remember. I said, let me know when you're sure. And then he said something. Oh, and then he said, need to see that hole.
Oh.
And I responded with, maybe let's hang out and check out the vibe first. And
Yeah.
then no response.
Yeah, of course.
But
No.
the funny thing is that this is somebody who I see constantly posting about, like, well, I don't have a boyfriend. I want a
Oh
boyfriend. Like
goodness. No, no.
just the other week they posted, it was like, oh, I had a really cute meet. Like I had a meet cute on the dance floor. Does anybody know this person? And it's like, this is why don't have a boyfriend
It doesn't
because
click for people. I don't understand how they can be so disconnected on how your actions, your words, your nudes that you said, like that creates a tone. And if you don't want that tone to lead to the casual disconnected sex, you need to change the other behavior too,
yeah,
because you're essentially signaling to everybody like this is all I am. This is all that there is
this is
to
all that
me.
you'll get from me.
And that's why I never really actually subscribe to this idea. It's like, oh, looking for the one, but I'll be okay with Mr. Right Now or whatever the fucking
Yeah.
phrase is. It's like, no, I feel like if you're okay with Mr. Right Now, that's what's gonna come faster.
Yeah.
And there's a
You're
lot
never
of
gonna
that.
get to Mr. Right if you're only
It
if Mr. Right now is in your
yeah,
periphery.
yeah, it's like you're just looking for that. Like, be honest about that, but like, don't expect, this big person revelation that is gonna come when you're actually also open to very casual, very superficial connections, right? Because I think that they are opposite to each other.
Well, I think that people, yeah, sorry, finish yours.
No, no. Well, the next thing I was gonna say, I think I was kind of also getting defensive because I'm like, and don't tell me about how these amazing relationships have been born out of a casual sex. And I'm like, yes, that has happened,
But it's rare.
but it's very rare. And like, I feel like people use that as like, well, you fuck around and then eventually something beautiful happens. I don't think that that's the majority of us. And statistically, I don't think that that happens that often.
Well, I think that a hard pill for a lot of people, gay or not gay, to swallow is that, like, most successful relationships are born of intention,
Yeah.
not happenstance. Like
Hmm.
the likelihood that you are just going to run into Joe Schmo on the street, and then all of a sudden the chemistry is going to be amazing, and you're going to be in love, and everything's going to be perfect. Like
Hmm.
it's just,
It's
it's like
romanticized.
it is a fairy tale.
Yeah.
Like that does not happen.
Yeah.
Like so when you're in this space of like, I'm accepting anything casual, but I'm interested in finding Mr. Right, you're not going to find him because you are not putting intention into getting to know somebody,
Yeah.
into learning how to trust somebody, into learning how to engage and interact. Like,
Oh, I have the perfect like date. So I've been dating a lot, you guys, and I have stories of the Wazoo and all this dating things, and Ryan probably knows 100% of them, but I'll repeat it. But I had this one person that I was starting to talk, and we started to talk off this app that shall not be named. Um, and the approach initially was like, I wanna, I wanna fuck with you. And I was like, oh, okay, that's not really what I'm looking for. And very quickly, this person shifted the tone. I was like, oh, I'm also open to dating. And I was like, oh, okay, let's see where this goes. And one of the things, like that um puts me at ease personally, and one of the main things that I'm looking for in someone is consistency. And so when someone starts showing me consistency and the ability to show up for the things that they say that they're going to show up for, that is already putting someone like 100, 200 points ahead than anybody else that I'm talking to. And this person did that. This person, like, we quickly moved into phone. We started sending text messages, we started sending voice messages, little video, shorts, chatting with each other. I think we had a call. This was when I went to see Beyonce in LA. Oh my God, you guys, that concert was amazing.
You
I,
guys missed his little Cowboy Carter get up, but
oh
hopefully
my
he'll
God.
post a picture.
I think I posted a picture already. I'll post another one. Uh, but yeah, I had a cute outfit. That was a cute outfit.
Oh no, I mean the cute outfit that
Oh yeah, I was gonna wear the merch
yeah,
from
your
Double
Cowboy
Carter.
Carter merch.
Yeah, I just thought that my belly was not ready for prime time. Maybe in a couple weeks. So anyhow, I was in LA for a few days, and this person continued talking to me through it. And I was like, oh wow, this is great. Like we're getting to know each other, we're sharing moments, you know. There is this one thing I would say though, and if you haven't listened to her, Sabrina So Hart talks a lot about this. It's just how quickly the false sense of intimacy can develop over texting a lot with someone that yet you haven't yet met. And this false sense of intimacy and that you get to know each other, I think it kind of sort of sometimes plays, like
Mind
uh
tricks.
mind tricks with you, and you're like, oh, I'm closer to this person that you really are. Like you still haven't met this person, you still haven't interacted in real life. Not enough time has passed for you to know this person or to actually feel a real sense of intimacy that builds over time with trust and safety and consistency. um so anyhow, I come back from LA and we end up going to the date, the day after I arrived. And we go on a walk, and quickly I realized that we're not in sync in the way that we talk. I'm when I have a thought that I want to share, I you know unless I share the whole thing, I feel incomplete and it really bugs me inside.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, okay.
so like I have to complete my thought, otherwise I just get really anxious and then I feel like frustrated. And then if the topic evolves into something else and I haven't finished it, I need to come back and finish it because it feels like I left the door open on,
You
on
left the
like the
stove on
cabinets.
or something. Yeah.
And so I don't know where that comes from. Probably I'm
I need to
somewhere in
feel
the
heard.
yeah, but I think I'm probably in the spectrum somewhere. Like that's one of my things that I just need to complete.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it just doesn't feel right physically. So anyhow, this person is very distracted by the world around him, and so he asked me a question. I start answering, and then he cuts me off to look at the plants, and then he cuts me off to look at the person walking, and then he cuts me off. And one thing I would say that he had down to, not a lot of guys do this, but he will actually come back and ask me the same question so I could complete it. But after the 10th time that this happened, I got really frustrated. I was like, okay, you either not interested, like that's kind of sort of what automatically my self-deprecating brain goes to. It's like, oh, he's not interested in my story. Like, I'm not interested enough. Um, and so I kind of sort of communicate. I was like, well, I really want to tell you the story, but it doesn't seem like you're ready to hear it, and like it doesn't seem that we're synchronized. And so he heard that and he adjusted, and it got better from that point on. But like I already kind of sort of had this taste of like, I don't know, like if we're gonna have a good dynamic long term. And I'm thinking we are going to be dating, like I need to understand if this is the type of energy that I want in my day to day. Like that's where my head is at. When I say I want to go on a date, that's what I'm thinking. It's like, are we compatible for a long term experience? And so we continued talking, and he wanted to know about my family, my mom specifically. I'm like, oh, I don't know if we're ready for that. Do
Remember
you
the
re-
interrupting
do
thing?
you really and I was like, do you really want to also know about like how heavy that whole story is with the kick out and no, your phone is gonna die. That's fine.
Get what you can.
And so he insisted, and I share about like all of the toxic partners that came out from my toxic parent upbringing and all of these things, how hard it is for me to open up to people, how hard it is for me to receive I love you, because to me I love you has such baggage because my parents told me they loved me, but they also did all these things that were like very hurtful.
Yeah.
And so, um, every time I will share these things, I think he felt empathy, but like, he was like patting me in the back, and it was a very weird like experience because I'm like, yeah, I moved through this. I don't need this sort of like childish empathy. But what what I thought that I was delivering with that was also an instruction manual. It's
Yeah.
saying like,
There's so
hey,
much information for
like
him
I'm giving
there.
you information there that like if you want to date me, like you heard it. Like that I need time, that I need trust, that I need consistency, that it takes me a minute. Don't love bomb me. Like don't do all these things, like well, clearly that didn't work because he takes me home. And okay, so I forgot to say this, but when I got to the car, when he picked me up at the beginning of the date, he tried to kiss me. And
Immediately.
I was like, oh, hi, person that I don't know yet. I haven't even seen you standing up and like you already want to make out with me. Like, no, I'm not ready. And so thinking back, it's maybe it was all of that texting and all those videos that kind of sort of created this false sense of intimacy. But on the way back, he drops me off in the front of my house, and I'm saying goodbye, and I was like, "Hey, I had a pleasant time with you." Like our conversation got so much better once we actually discussed, like what was happening. Instead of me, which for me was also so hard to say, "Oh my God, this is not working," because I just wanted to like be okay with it, but like I wasn't. And he tries to kiss me again, and I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna need a little bit more time before we get really sexual, especially after just share all of this trauma with you. Like, I'm not feeling the sexy vibes. Like
Yeah.
maybe you're feeling connected, but like, I just
Connection doesn't mean sex.
yeah." And it was really interesting. His response was, "Well, I'm gonna need like kissing and sex," and I was frozen because I was like, "Oh, okay." And then I got confused because I'm like, well, I'm not saying that I don't want to have sex with you or that I will not get there, but like this is not the moment for that. We just went on one date, and I was trying to see if he was interested in another date, but like the way that he replied with such rudeness, I was like, oh, okay. And I closed the door and I walked away without even knowing what to say. And then thinking about it, I was like, I think he thought, let's go on one date to see if we're going to have sex at the end of that date. And the moment that that wasn't panning out to be that way, he shut down the whole situation. And I obviously got shut down because I was like, oh, well, that's not what dating means to me.
Yeah.
And so maybe like I need to be more clear about what dating is, right? In general, because I don't think that there's a common um underlying knowledge of what it may mean different things to different people. I'm realizing
I'm certain it does, but I will say that to me it feels odd that you have to specifically disclose that we are not going to have sex
the first date.
on the first date. Like to
Yeah.
me that feels a little bit odd. Like I can understand like maybe there's definitely context and nuance to certain situations for sure, of course. But yeah, like at baseline, it just doesn't feel like that. Like it shouldn't have to be like, let's go on a walk in a park. I'm not gonna come home with you. I'll meet you there at 7. Like,
But see, the thing is, like, I wouldn't be opposed to have sex on the first date. It's just also traditionally for me, every time I had sex on the first date, it didn't win on a second date, even though I wanted it to. And so I also don't want to like
you're a little opposed to it.
I'm a little opposed just because of the
Past
pattern. It's
experience.
not because I'm a prude and I don't, or I believe like in some sort of like, voodoo that
Just
like
in
if
your
you have sex,
experience.
you ruin it.
Yeah.
It's just more like I feel like what happens is a lot of these guys know how to play the game, and people that might not be interested in the first on actual dating, which I think that this might be closer to that case. They're not really interested in dating. They're just pretending to be interested in dating or thinking that dating means like, oh, we'll just go on a walk and then have sex instead of just come over to your house and have
Get naked.
sex.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm just adding a walk in,
You're just adding the
a
walk
warm up.
and a very long foreplay
Yeah.
outside without touching.
The tension.
Just building the sexual tensions, and then you get home and then you have sex. That is not what dating means to me. If you're listening to this and you're dating me, like this is not what dating means to me. But anyhow, I don't even remember what I was saying this. Oh, just essentially just yeah, I don't know. What were we talking about?
I think it was just related to like this kind of people like seeking connection, but like really what they're doing is like
Right.
shutting themselves off from connection.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah, that was the topic. And so yeah, and so it was really interesting to me because in my head, and then I went on a subsequent date with another person, and the same thing happened where like at the end, because there was no kiss or there was nothing else, they kind of sort of shut me out really quickly because they probably felt rejected by not having. But to me it was like, oh, this was a pleasant first date, and it was awkward and it was a little bit good, and it was enough good that I would have gone to a second date with this person. And because they just didn't get what they wanted, which was this rush of like fucking, serotonin and an orgasm, they cut themselves off from a potential second date.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, obviously we're not in the same path because I'm not dating for one date. I'm dating for a longer period of time.
Yeah.
And so, anyhow, not necessarily about masks, but
I mean, I think it is about masks because I think that these are people who are wearing a mask to like fit into what they think is
mm,
the standard. What they
right.
think is how we're supposed to perform
Operate.
as gay men. They think it's like it should be physical and sex should be involved and we should be kissing
Mm, yeah.
and connection should be immediate and it shouldn't be awkward. Like no, it
I
should be awkward. Like
I am so glad you're saying this because I even feel lately that I've been having to convince some of my friends that like it's okay not to want sex. Like, and again, I'm not a prude and I have had my moments of just being all out, a sexual deviant. And but right now, like I just came to terms with the fact like that doesn't fulfill me. That just kind of sort of perpetuates my desire to have a deeper connection. And so saying like, well, I don't want to have sex right now. Like, like, yes, that person is super hot, but like they are not interested in dating. They just want to have sex and be done. And having to convince my friends that I'm not a prude, that like that it's okay not to want it. It's fucking exhausting. And it
yeah.
makes me, it's almost like it's trying to perpetuate that same thing that I'm trying to like. It takes so much energy to be like, no, that's not what I want. And sometimes it takes energy when I get hit up by like this fucking hot person, that I want to say yes, but in the same process, my brain goes into like, this is not, this person is married, or this person is in an open relationship, or this person really just want to fuck and that's it. That's all you're gonna get. And even if I want to pretend or go with the illusion that this might lead to something else, that gamble for me with my mental health issues, guys, like it is such a big gamble because if that doesn't pan out to something deeper, I am the one that is just gonna feel even more sad, more disconnected, wanting more connection, feeling more lonely, and ultimately having to add more therapy sessions to my week because I don't know how to deal with that without like going into some self-destructive,
Yeah.
mechanisms. So
Well, I mean, I definitely, I even feel like that same pressure. I mean, it's definitely, again, I think that like another, I think that there's a misconception in the gay community about like sex positivity
yeah,
versus
right.
like validation. Because
Mhm.
to me, a lot of like, I've been in so many spaces where like it felt like the entire event, encounter, social time was just all conversations about like sex with gay men. Like, and it's just like, yeah, we can talk about sex, but like for it to just be like the constant main priority of conversation is like talking about the sex parties that we go to and who we're hooking up with and what vacation and what cruise I'm going to. And then there's this party and oh, do you know that guy? Oh yeah, I had sex with like it's just like that to me does not spell out sex positivity. That to me feels often like people trying to feel validated
Mm,
by r- recounting their like sexual exploits and stuff like that. And so like I feel this a similar pressure when like you're in like gay spaces
Yeah.
to like contort to this like extremely sexually driven
It
thing.
is. It's. You know why it's so difficult? I think it's because it's the one thing that we have in common is like we like gays, we like sex with
Yeah.
men, and it becomes part of our identity to a point. To what you were saying earlier, right? It's like the thing that excluded us from other circles is the thing that brings us together as this community, but at the same time it's so one dimensional, and I know for a fact that a lot of us are more than one dimensional. Some haven't really explored that yet. It's okay. It's a journey. And I hope you do, because I know that like we all have so many more colors and shapes and forms inside of us, that uh are wanting to be explored. And I think like the more that I explore my hobbies and other things and other things that I loved and learn that I'm learning, uh the happier I feel about myself,
Yeah.
and I struggled a lot with my own happiness for many years, even since I moved here in San Francisco. But like I feel like in the past, like I just keep moving to new cities, trying to see like if I could be happier, and then I realized, well,
Everywhere you go, there I
everywhere you are,
am.
there you are, and so um yeah, and so it wasn't until like very recently that I was like, you know what? Let's just see what else is inside of me that wants to come out, and the needing old lady, where's my needing
It's
stuff?
in over
The
there.
needing my needing old lady came out, my gamer came out, my
You're,
X-Men drawing
you're a
came out,
podcaster.
my podcast came out. Well, that was you that
A
pulled me out
little.
of the
I just
closet. Yeah.
pushed a little bit.
Yeah. And so all this other aspects of me came out, and so that was kind of like an interesting thing. And I noticed now that I'm like, oh, I'm so much more wholesome and happier, because I have all these things to explore, right? So explore your shit, man.
Yeah. Take
Um,
off your masks.
okay, so another mask that I have. What did you go? It's my turn.
Yeah, I did my. Yeah, I think I started us off on that extremely long
Okay, yeah.
tangent.
So my other mask that I put on is usually when I'm new to a job or if I'm interviewing, uh, I make a really deep voice and I kind of sort of slow it down a little bit so I don't sound very gay. I hate my voice. It has gotten better since and listening to
Yeah, it does
myself on
sound.
the
Yeah, it
podcast.
sounds way better, man.
Yo, bro,
Yo,
what's up?
totally.
Hey, man, my name is Dario, and like I'm Butch.
No, it's Dario when
There we go.
Dario when you're but
Depends who's on the other side. If it's a Latino or if it's a white person. If it's a white person, Dario,
yeah.
Daryl. Just call me Daryl.
Daryl. Big D.
But yeah, so I think like one of the things that I try to hide the most once I heard myself speaking once when I was young was my voice because I thought that I sounded gay a lot of, when I was in elementary school, everybody called me a faggot, in Spanish, maricon. And I got a shirt recently that says maricon, and I'm re-owning that word. It's mine now, and I get to wear it proudly. But anyhow, uh, and in my little head at the time, it's like, well, the only way that they can know that I'm gay is because of the way I sound. I don't think that was true per se, because
Jared.
I was a little bit flamboyant, anyways. But in my little head in that moment was like, oh, it's definitely my voice, because they definitely don't know that I'm thinking about boys. And so yeah, that's the only thing that made sense. And so I grew up with this like fear that like if people will hear my real voice, I wouldn't get the same advantages. And so I think it got worse when I moved to Texas and I was living in Texas and I have to go to interviews there, where there's definitely more of an issue of being gay, and it's just obviously, excuse me, a red state. And so yeah, so my voice when I interview. I don't know if it will still be the case if I were to interview now, but what I was saying earlier is that I have to come out every time that I start a new job. I had to come out again, like, and I usually want to come out easily and fast because I don't want people to think that I'm gay without being sure for some reason. And so I always try to like weave in like, oh yeah, my ex-boyfriend, or like I went on a date with this guy, and weave it in really casually into conversation. Mostly first of all because I want them to know, and I want to know if they have an issue with that. I want to know quickly so I can just make new choices very quickly, because
Yeah.
I will not be able to be in an environment where that is not, accepted
Yeah,
or
you're like designating your safe zones
right.
basically.
And I'm like, you're gonna interact with me. Just know this is out there, and I'm okay with it. And so, I have a lot of straight coworkers, even currently, and they're amazing. Like they ask me about my dates, they ask me about Pride, they ask me about like Beyonce. I think pretty much everybody in the company knew that I went to see Beyonce. One of my coworkers said, she was giving an update that I usually do on Mondays on the channel that I have to do the update. And she's like, hi, it's me today because Dario is out there listening to Queen Bee at the concert. So you're getting the update from me. And then she went on to give the update for my work. It was really funny because it
It's
was like
funny.
a very public
I'm
thing.
like envisioning it as kind of like an Instagram reel, and like, and when she says it, it's like a flash of you at the concert in like all denim or something like that.
It is so funny. I mean, like everybody saw, if you haven't seen it, I have to post this again. But my bestie, Christy, she pretended to be, well, I don't know if she was pretending to record Beyonce, but instead of recording Beyonce, she recorded my emotions and my faces. And then at the end, she did this whole TikTok video with all of my emotions
I don't think
throughout
I
the
saw this.
You
Yeah,
haven't
no, I
seen
don't think I saw it.
that? I had to show it
I
to you.
can't wait.
I'm literally bawling on most of the fucking concert. Like I literally had to sit down at some point and just watch all my recordings of the concert because I don't remember what happened. I was so emotional. I just couldn't stop crying. Um, all right.
Are we?
We have two more masks that we need to release into the world.
Yeah, so
Um,
me first.
if you want to, I've been talking a lot.
Yeah, mine is like a pretty literal mask. So to give context, as was disclosed during the last episode, I have like identified some like PTSD around a sexual assault that like kind of I basically just like took a break from having sex with people because I didn't feel safe or comfortable to do. So after a really long period of not having sex with people and then wanting to start having sex with people again, I had a lot of anxiety around like the encounters, like about the meeting up with somebody. So a way that I got myself to get over the hump to like remove the anxiety or this pressure of like I don't know, so many different aspects. I decided to start kind of doing like a non-hookup thing. So I would, invite a guy over. I'd share them pictures if they wanted to see me, but I usually didn't want to see what they looked like. And I would wear a little beanie over my head and, just ask them
Would
for
they ask for your face prior?
Sometimes they would, not always. Most of it was on, do we say the other? Can I say the other one? The other app?
Oh, the other app?
Uh, I'm just gonna say it. We can decide to bleep it out later.
yeah.
So I mean, I do most of that off of Sniffies, which I don't have like a profile picture with my face on
Mm.
it. So mostly they're just hitting me up, nice ass, nice ass, nice ass. So sometimes they want to see a picture of me, sometimes they don't, depending on what they were bringing to the table. If I really wanted to do it, then I would sure send them a picture. If I didn't really care and that they didn't want anything special to me, then I wouldn't. But yeah,
So you don't want to see anything about them?
Body, I want to see their dick. I'm definitely a little bit of a size queen in those scenarios. So there's a minimum that you
Is
have
this
to.
a mask on?
This is a minimum requirement that you have to meet. Um, what size queen? Is that a mask?
Yeah, is that a mask?
No, that's a
No.
tiara.
Oh,
That's a crown.
okay.
Yeah, but I mean, to me,
So you want to see their dick and their bodies, and then do you confirm that that's them when they come in, or
no,
no?
no,
Not really.
it's
So
very,
anyone can just
yeah,
come
anybody
in.
can come. Anybody can come. Um,
Sorry, I just imagine like just a line.
I wish I had gotten to that point, honestly. Then it's definitely still a little fantasy of mine, to get like hoard out a little bit.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, maybe one day it'll
Do
happen.
you share this experiences with your partner?
Not in graphic detail. And especially
Does he
not,
listen to our podcast?
yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I actually don't know if he's listened to everything. I actually don't know what he's listened to and what he hasn't listened to be totally honest. But
Fair.
he's had a lot of stuff going
Yeah, I
on.
know.
So, we're not talking about it like really in depth. Like he knows that I've gone out on dates. He knows that I'm obviously hooking up with people.
Right.
Uh,
Is he?
no, he's also had some stuff
Yeah.
occur
Yeah.
that has he's
Yeah,
taken.
you don't have to get into
Yeah,
that.
so he's not really hooking up with people right now. So it's more of just like a, not that I like couldn't or don't want to or anything like that. It's more of a just like we're long distance. We don't get to do that with each other at all right now and haven't for a while. So it's like it's more of a just like I don't want to. Like I don't want to be spending the little bits of him that I get talking about being with other people.
Right. Yeah, that's yeah.
But I mean, he certainly knows that like I was doing that. But for me, it was always temporary. Like it was just phase one to get me back to a place of being confident interacting with people sexually. I don't think I've done it
Mm.
for a minimum a month, if not more now.
Does it feel safer?
Hooking up with people now.
No. Doing the anonymous thing.
Does it feel safer? Absolutely not. I can't see this person. I have no idea who they are. If you were a new person,
Something I'm confused. I thought that this was a stepping stone to feeling safer into interacting with other people. Right?
um,
Did I misunderstood?
yeah, it definitely was.
Okay.
I'm not, but it certainly isn't a safer scenario to objectively, it's not a safer scenario to
I mean
invite
emotionally,
emotion.
not safer in
Emotionally, it felt
context of no. Yes.
physical danger.
Right. No, physical danger. Yes.
Emotionally, it felt
Emotionally
significantly
feel
safer.
that's what I was asking.
Absolutely.
That's
It
what I was
felt
asking.
so much safer for me because like
Interesting.
I completely got to bypass any need for connection, any
Oh,
potentiality for
okay.
rejection, any anxiety that might
You
occur.
feel like a different person?
Do
You feel
I feel like a different person?
when you're in your mask?
No,
No.
no.
Okay. So
For me, it was just about, like I said, it was really just about like getting over like like I wanted to engage in sex, doing the like trying to like meet up with, because I had tried to do like I had a guy over, I like couldn't get hard, and finally like I was able to get in and like came instantly. It was like just such like an upsetting experience for
I
me.
remember when I first broke up with my ex of a year, it was practically impossible to feel comfortable having sex with someone else.
Yeah,
It was so strange. It was the weirdest thing
for me it
ever.
was for
Yeah.
me it was just there was so much of it that was like I said, like there was such an intense anxiety that would come up for me when thinking about trying to hook up with somebody, that the only
Yeah.
way that I could get past that anxiety was like put on a mask. I don't need to think about them. I don't need to think about who they are. I don't need to like perform for them and like, like
Right.
put on the face to make them feel like I'm really enjoying it and make all the noises and this, that, and the other. Like just come in, fuck me, and go.
Oh,
Um,
I can never fake the noises. If I'm not
no,
enjoying
exactly.
it, like
And
I'm
I
not enjoying it.
exactly, and I couldn't
It's pretty obvious.
and I couldn't in those moments either. And now as an adult, I wouldn't either do
Right.
that. But yeah, like to me, as an anxious, panicked person, there's all these
Right.
parts moving around in my
Yeah.
brain, and the only way to turn off those parts was to like blind myself, and
Wait, so you're blinded also?
yeah, I was wearing a beanie to completely cover
Oh,
my
okay. I
face.
imagine there was more like the Pussy Riot kind of mask. They had the holes.
So the first guy who I ever invited over to do it worked at Mr. S Leather and brought me one of those masks to
Okay.
wear. And I was like, no, I don't want to see you. The point is, I don't care if you see me. I don't want to see you. So
Oh, okay. So it has to be
I
blindfolded
don't want to see
as part
them.
of the
Yeah, as
process.
part of
Okay.
the scenario is definitely me being.
I'm curious about the beanie. I think maybe we should post the beanie.
You want me to post a picture in the beanie? I actually have on my ex, which
I can't imagine. It's just a regular beanie that is like long and
it's
it
literally,
covers your
yeah, it's
eyes.
literally just a black beanie that
Can
goes,
you breathe?
yeah,
Okay.
because it's like my
It's not
nose.
like a ski mask of like a rubber.
It's not rubber, but no, well, ski
No,
mask
not rubber. Rubber.
Grover.
Rubber. Like
I mean, it's
stealing
basically,
bank
yeah, no,
robber.
basically imagine exactly that, but without the cutouts and not going down to my neck.
Okay.
Like it stopped around my
So
nose.
they can see your
They can
mustache.
see my mustache. They can. I have extremely identifiable tattoos.
I
Like,
know. That's what I feel about like nudes. People are like, "Oh, you should not show your face with your nudes." I'm like, I have unique tattoos. Nobody else like have
yeah,
this tattoos. To me to put nudes out there means like I put everything out there.
yeah,
Like there's no halfway there. So
yeah.
yeah, interesting.
Yeah, so I haven't done it in a while. I've actually been topping lately, which has been a lot of fun. Yeah, so we're finally versed again, which is such a good feeling.
Mhm.
And like and it's total flip side because now I'm in a place where I'm really seeking connection. Like I told you, like with this interaction with this guy on Instagram, like the prospect of just a hookup, like I've done it, I've got my confidence back, I know that I can do
Right.
it,
I
so I don't
think
need to
yeah.
do it
Yeah,
anymore.
I think like every time that I hooked up has been after heartbreak. and and it's usually like what I need to kind of sort of close off the leftover whatever from the person prior to it. But when I feel wholesome and full and like my life is full and things are going well and I'm not stressed, like there's so not appeal to that.
Yeah.
There's fantasies about it, but like the fantasies are usually is like, well, but I also want to cuddle afterwards
Yeah.
and I want
Well,
to see you again,
and
you know?
most of those fantasies are things that like play out in real world scenarios, not
Yeah,
things that I'm planning on an app.
right, exactly. Yeah,
Like the
yeah.
fantasy of like the gym hookup
Oh,
is all about.
I'm still heartbroken about that guy. God.
But like the fantasy of like I personally have like a fantasy of like hooking up at the gym, and like the fantasy about that is like about like the tension at the gym of us like being on opposite sides of the room and constantly
Mm.
making eyes and checking each other out
Oh
and then
my
just like
God.
winding up in the locker room and like like all of that is built into the fantasy, and none of that is achievable if I'm finding you on an app and
It's so
planning
transactional.
it.
It's so transactional, and I feel like it brings people's values down, and it just kind of perpetuates itself.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, now I feel like a piece of meat, and I just need to
I
like
got to keep getting a quick
continue.
hit.
Yeah, get that quick hit going.
Fast food versus cooking a meal.
Yeah. Oh, oh, that's such a sad like comparison, but you're
I mean,
true.
that's the comparison. It's like it's fast food versus taking the time to cook
Mhm.
a
Yeah,
delicious meal that's gonna
yeah.
be good for you and taste amazing.
Well, yeah, you're right. So I think I have another gym crush. I found a new one.
Oh yeah.
He looks kind of mean. He looks like very much like bro-ish, but like
Maybe he sounds
no, no, no.
maybe he's like very sweet sounding.
I don't know.
Hi.
But I got so I got Ryan and myself. I like to have matching shirts with him for some reason. I don't know why, but I got a new one that says
Gay nerd.
nerdy
Nerdy
gay,
gay.
nerdy gay, and I been really bold at this new gym that I've been going
Yeah,
to.
I haven't worn Live Laugh Loads at the gym
Oh
yet.
yeah, no, I don't think no, because that will send the wrong message. Like as
I
as
really do.
raunchy as our name is, like we are such like
But I also go
cuties.
to fucking Planet Fitness. So that's I want to wear it because it's Planet Fitness.
No, that
It
would
will
be so weird.
upset the environment so
They'll
much.
lunk alarm you. They'll be like,
They're gonna lunk alarm me for a
yeah,
lot of
for
other
sure.
things.
It's so funny. No, I go to this gym, which I initially thought that everybody there was more straight, but it's here in the Castro.
It's
It's like
in the Castro.
it's literally next door to me. And I just keep realizing that every single person that I thought was super straight, my initial gym crash, like some other people that like have been there and they look all serious and all like biffy and weird. They like one of these all like he's like 6'7" and he's always like flexing
Wow.
in the mirrors, and I'm like, oh, this guy's
Is
so
he
straight.
bald?
He's not bald. He's like
Okay.
he looks like a Gen Z. He wears like the Hammer MC Hammer
Yeah,
pants.
I wear those.
Is that a new thing
I
happening
don't
right
know,
now?
but I love
Oh
them.
my god.
I go to the gym in like a stringer tank top tucked into that like MC Hammer
Yeah,
pants.
that's his look.
Yeah, that's my
Except but
look.
he's 6'7"
Yeah,
or
so,
six
and I'm
eight.
5'7".
Yeah, he is like this very large volume of a human. Um, and I thought he was so straight. He like takes all his photos in the light, and
And then
like
you saw
sometimes
him
I'm
in a
like,
rainbow jockstrap in the
no, he just like tapped me on one of the apps, and I'm like, oh my god, he's in the app. Like I was like, he is in the fucking app. But like, yeah. So one by one, all of the people that I have thought that were straight, they're not.
So I bet every man at your gym is like, I don't want to go to the gay gym anymore. I want to go to the not gay gym, and everybody at the not gay gym is gay.
Pretends not to be gay. Well, I mean, I understand why, because that other gym, the gay gym, that made me so fucking anxious. I couldn't go there without feeling like people were like staring at me uncomfortably. Some old men were like following me around, or like they will like find the machine directly opposed to the one that I was using, and then they would just stare and not fucking work out for like different exercises that I would do, and they would just stay there doing nothing. And I'm like, sir, please at least just exercise. Oops, sorry. At least
This
exercise.
is a
Like
show.
you're making me so uncomfortable right now.
Yeah.
Like, please do not do that. And so once I end up not going to that gym anymore for reasons that I will share in a different profile, different podcast. um, I went to this other gym where like apparently was more straight, but it is not. And so anyhow, my new gym crush, he's like this very dark, handsome. I believe he might be Brazilian. I don't know. I can't tell. But speaking of size queens, oh my god, this man package is just so ridiculous. Like
Love it.
he was on the floor the other day rolling on his back on like the foam roller, and he was like lifting his legs to like really get in there on the back, and I'm like, sir,
Did you
please,
see through the
sir,
shorts? Or was it just a
the
bulge?
print, just the
Okay.
print. Yeah, the print was just ridiculously like obscene. Like I was like, sir, yes, please continue, but also please do not continue because I need to work out and I need to focus. And I have the nerdy gay shirt, and I think he saw it. And I don't know if this is just me imagining things, but after he saw the shirt,
You got a lot more
he
performative.
no, he continued to like stare at me every time that I looked over. Like I would look over and he would just like, like catch
Yeah.
my eyes. So anyhow, it's my turn, huh?
Yeah. The last mask.
The last mask. Okay, so I'm gonna preface this with the fact that everybody in my reality knows my sexual preference, but there are like a few people that don't, and I don't necessarily feel. I mean, I don't feel that I owe to anybody to literally describe what I do in bed or what I
No,
don't do in bed.
only our sexual partners.
And I think like obviously among friends we all kind of discover this over because we all see each other on the apps, or we just talk openly about sex, which is fine, and I don't have any hangups about my sexual preferences. And over the years is obviously have gone way too much towards one place. I think probably the times that I have topped in my life, like I can count with my hand, with one hand, possibly. And I never had any desire to fuck anybody, guys. So there it is. I am a bottom, but also, um, I want to say like the times that I've been asked bluntly, it happens probably like two different times I can remember, and one time It's very fussy, and I don't think I had the vocabulary to not answer the way that I wanted to answer, which is like, and this was usually by a straight woman, has happened a lot, and I think that all three were like three straight women, um, and it wasn't in a private conversation. It was a conversations that were being had either at a party or in front of other people, as if this is something that I was supposed to disclose, and that it was okay and normal for someone to ask you like, "Oh, do you like to get fucked?" Or "Do you like to fuck?" Which I think is really inappropriate, but for
Yeah.
some reason, um, the default of you being gay has to also very quickly be associated into this next
What
box.
what sex?
Like, are you versatile? Are you top or are you bottom?
Yeah.
And so I think like the very first time that I was asked this was like so long ago. I don't even remember. I think it was like back in Portland. Um, and I didn't have the language to be like, I don't think that that's an appropriate question to ask me, especially in front of people. And so I didn't. I did reply, and I felt uncomfortable, and I think I lied. And I think like every time that I've been, put in that situation, I just generally say like, "Oh, I'm burst," or like, I like everything.
Yeah.
Because I feel really uncomfortable about talking about my sexual preferences, especially with someone that is not gay, and
Well, and like you said,
us
in
not
a
in a
just like
private,
in
yeah.
just a completely public space around people you don't know, like it's
Yeah, it's just so personal. Like, I wouldn't ever ask straight woman or a straight man for that. It's like, "Oh, do you like to get pegged? Do
yeah,
you like
you like
handles?"
stuff up your butt.
Yeah, like it just feels kind of weird. Um, and so, if you're a straight woman, don't ask that question in public.
Don't ask that of people you don't know.
If it's and especially if it's not a conversation about sex, like if it's
Yeah.
just someone just told you like they're gay, and then you follow up with that question, like it doesn't matter, and it's not something that we need to discuss or like label right away. We can get to that if we're having an adult conversation about sex, and you're telling me your sexual preferences. Of course I'm gonna tell you my sexual preferences.
Yeah.
But out of context, I feel like it's a little bit inappropriate.
Yeah. Well, like I was saying, I think that there is a type of woman who women get objectified by men all the time. And I think that there is a type of woman out there that responds to that by taking the opportunity to objectify gay men because we're easier
Yeah,
to
yeah,
target and
yeah,
it's more acceptable.
yeah.
And I think it's a form of, like I said, I think it's kind of like a form of revenge. It's a form of like
I
lashing back and kind of taking control and like, I get objectified, so it's okay for me to objectify
So
back.
now that you're saying this, I'm remembering this lady at the gym. I One day I just kind of wore my short shorts, and I have a voluptuous ass, I would say. Like sometimes I shouldn't put it inside a tiny little shorts to that degree. And right now my ass is so fucking big. None of my shorts fit me.
I had to bring Dario shorts.
He got me some cute shorts. They're actually the nice size for
They're
me.
nice material.
Yeah, it's a
They're
nice material. They're
I'll have my own.
camo.
Yeah, I'll have my own exact same pair in one size smaller.
So anyhow, so I was at the gym, and we were doing combat, and this like lady comes from behind and grabs both of my fucking cheeks.
So
And
inappropriate.
I just jumped because I was not expecting that. And let alone that from a woman, And I was like, whoa, like, and it was interesting because like I didn't react with the negativity that I should have reacted.
Because you're so shocked.
I'm shocked, and also like like I obviously don't feel threatened by a woman, so there's also that difference that like obviously when a guy does that to a woman, then there's all the power dynamic and the fear that they could get
Do
their
something,
way.
yeah,
Yeah,
hurt
and like
you or
I'm like this big muscle boy, like I'm obviously not scared of a woman trying to get their way with me, but still felt so inappropriate,
yeah,
and it happened several times afterward, until eventually I had to have a conversation with this person. It's like, hey, like,
yeah.
I just want you to think, like, how will this feel if someone did this to you? And of course, the response was like, oh, well, if it's you, like, it will be totally fine. I was like, that's just not what I'm asking. Like, you're not like you're getting really up in my ass. Like, that's not okay. Like, I haven't given you access to that.
Yeah.
It's not the type of attention that I'm seeking. Even though I'm wearing the short shorts, like, it's not,
Non-consensual
yeah,
touching
it's
is
not for you to take take it.
yeah.
Like, even though it's sort of presented
Yeah.
in this tiny shorts.
This
But
is a please touch museum.
but again, it's like, it's not about the clothes, like, we can't blame the victim, right?
Yeah,
Like,
none of
what
this,
is
"Oh,
wearing.
yeah, she was look at the way she was
Yeah,
dressed, she was asking for it."
yeah,
None of that fucking mentality.
yeah. And, like, it's just not okay.
Yeah.
Like, and this is not okay for gay men to do that either. Pride parties, sex parties, any gay party, any gay environment, anywhere.
Yeah.
So please, let's stop doing that. And if, like, if this happens to me and this creates so much anxiety when I go out, I think we talked about
Yeah.
this maybe. Like, just come and rub me. When you need to move through me at a packed space. Like, don't touch me. Just say, like, excuse me. You can tap my
Tap on a
shoulder
shoulder.
and I'll move. Like, I'll make sure. But, like, using that as an excuse to, like, rub your hands on my
My
body, like,
hips
it's
or
on my
waist or
hips, so it
yeah.
just feels inappropriate, and it's just such an old mentality, and we all get anxiety, or I get anxiety from it. So, be aware that, not everybody is going to react properly to those things, and then we blame the victim because they're not reacting in a cool, casual way.
Yeah.
But some of us have sexual abuse, things that happen to us, and so we have this, like, physical reactions to touch that, people should be aware of.
Yeah.
Like, not everybody is able to be super casual about it. So
Yeah.
okay, so those were all the masks that I could think of. I
Yeah.
wanted to take off in from of you guys, my inner circle now. I guess my inner
Yeah.
circle is so big. It's like 200 of you
Everybody's
at
in the
least.
in now. Everybody's in the know.
Yeah, so everybody knows everything about us. But I thought it will be a great segue into the interview, which is obviously going to be the next part
Yeah.
of this episode, talking about the closet, and just for all of us to have empathy, and think about, in which ways we continue to hide who we are, after we came out of the closet, in different circles, whether it's at work, with your friends, with your family, what part of you still hides somewhere in the closet, and, that you want to actually fetch and make yourself more whole. I think that that's essentially um, what I've been working on,
Yeah.
trying to
Agreed.
integrate things, from different parts of my life into one wholesome, multifaceted person that can just be full on all different settings. Um, with that,
Yeah.
w- we have a question. We have a
Oh,
question
wait, and
from.
did we go over corrections from last
We
time?
did not go
No.
over
So, do
correction.
you want to do question or corrections?
Let's do both.
Yeah. Well, you need to open up because
Let's
you
do corrections
got
first.
locked up there.
Okay, so okay. We made it. Corrections from episode 2. Um, well, two things that happened, and one was my poor editing skills. It seems like the music is super loud, and then our voices are not very loud, and so, like,
There's just a few moments where there's like a real drastic shift. So
yeah.
just give us, give us some breath
Give
space.
us a
We're working
minute.
on it.
I'm learning so many things with every episode.
Yeah, guys.
Um,
Dario's doing a lot.
and now I add a video
And now, yeah,
on top of all of this.
3 video angles.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, you guys. I'm really trying to give you guys video, but every single time that we try to do recordings of video, like,
Yeah.
we have failed.
I think we got it.
I think this time we might have gotten it. We have two angles, but then the battery dies, so one part is gonna be one thing, and then the
Yeah.
rest is gonna be a different thing. I don't know. I'll try to edit everything properly. But with the sound, I'm so sorry. I hope I didn't blow anybody's, like, inner ear thing. I don't even know anatomy enough to
Eardrum.
yeah, eardrum. Um, and I also say CBT, not the drug. What I actually meant when I was talking about CBT, which was cognitive behavioral therapy, I was confusing it with CBD, which is cannabidiol, which is the
Did
thing.
you say CBD?
Yeah, no, I said like I'm talking. I said CBT, not the drug, but the therapy type style. But there's no drug that is CVT. There is a drug that is CBD, but there is a CVT that is a kink, which is cock and ball churcher. It's a very complicated.
Yeah, his little note on his laptop is like, it's just like CBT this, CBD this, CBT this.
Yeah, exactly. So anyhow, there's no drug called CBT. There is a CBD, and then there's a CBT kink.
Cool.
So I just wanted to clarify those things.
There's a lot of little abbreviations for so many things
Yeah,
out there.
exactly. So
So, and then I have a few at during the episode at one point last time, you asked me about side effects from Wellbutrin. And now that I've been back on the name brand for a little bit, I have been able to identify some, and I don't know if it's the same one, like if it's like, like born of the same like pathway in like biological pathway, but I definitely have a significantly increased libido
with
uh,
the brand name,
with the name brand.
but
Yeah,
you had
the
decreased
generic
before.
was doing nothing for me.
Oof, okay.
Yeah, like literally I was like spiraling right back down into my like,
Welcome back to horniness.
yeah, it's so great. It's very nice. And then so in addition to that, I also I noticed that like my body temperature is a lot higher and like I sweat easily. Like
Oh.
I am constantly getting pitters
Yeah.
now, which it's
Are you losing more weight or getting more defined?
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
but I'm also not stressed, so my cortisol levels are down.
Oh,
So like so water retention that goes
yeah.
down, and because I'm happier, I'm going to the gym more, and I'm walking more, and I'm going out more. So,
Ryan is looking super summery, you guys.
thanks, guys.
Yeah.
We get a little tan on. The
Yeah.
blonde is
We
coming.
were at the
out.
Lotus Park on Friday. He was wearing his little like
My little galaxy print
I know
speedo.
everybody had their fucking like speedos.
Everybody.
I didn't know that was a thing. I don't think I've seen that many speedos before. This is a news brand.
I never am just wearing shorts. I'm always in.
Okay, I'm gonna have to put my speedos into my park backpack because I have a backpack for every occasion, and I have one for Dolores Park, and I don't have speedos in it.
Yeah, put some speedos in it. I'm gonna wear that skimpy. So in addition to these shorts that I got that were too big for me that Dario has now, I also got like this super cute like camo thong.
Big assed.
You're bigger than me. I'm 165 pounds, Dario.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Don't you have
You're beefier than I am. It's okay.
107. I do need to lose some.
Whatever.
Whatever.
But yeah, I have this super skimpy camo thong that I cannot wait to wear. And apologize. Do I apologize? I don't know. I'm definitely gonna get semi-chub at the park, so everybody watch out.
Why?
It's just like it cups and it feels like it's just one of those things where it's like, have you ever had underwear that kind of cups you in a certain way where it's like kind of.
No, my problem is if my underwear is not tight in that area, I kind of have like this very.
You need something to contain.
Yeah, I need
Yeah.
to tie things down like that.
Yeah, I definitely don't like loose underwear for sure.
Yeah.
This is just like so fitted to the area. It kind of almost
Does it have like the little hole that you put the thing
No,
through?
absolutely. I would never. I hate those.
I don't understand them, but like
They're to make your bulge look bigger.
Oh, okay.
That's
I don't need that.
Yeah, you don't need. Yeah, you're like, I don't understand. Why would anybody want that? Bigger?
No, I understand that people will want that. I don't personally need that because then it's
Offensive.
Yeah, it is offensive. It is offensive. I was at the gym this morning and I had this looser underwear that I got. They're like really cute and they're for sports, but it has absolutely no structure.
Yeah, those compression shorts, they do nothing. You're like, how are
there's-
compression
there's-
shorts
that-
not
was
holding my jump?
Nothing nothing was
Yeah.
holding. Like I usually need the jock straps to like really pull them down.
Yeah.
And also for my ass to just be able to breathe because my problem is that if one is too tight, then the other one is extremely tight.
Yeah.
And if something is too loose, then the other thing is just all over the place. So I can't find the right underwear for myself. But anyhow, I had this looser underwear, and I just keep looking at myself sideways on the fucking mirror, and I was like, this is definitely offending someone right now. Someone might be enjoying it. Some people might be offended by this
Yeah.
amount of bulging.
Yeah.
So anyhow,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, and then my last one is, so during my anxiety mitigating tips that I gave last time, I forgot to mention probably definitely one of the easier ones, which is called, I'm pretty sure it's called lion's breath. Essentially, what you do is it's just like a really deep inhale and then just like an audible exhale from your belly, where you just kind of
Like breath of fire.
like when you're outside and it's cold and you're trying to see your breath, that's how you want to breathe out. So it's just like like audible, very audible from your stomach. So that's another little way that you can relieve some anxiety, folks.
Well, thank you for that.
Hmm.
I actually been so much happier like singing now, knowing that I'm like calming my nerves.
Anxiety with it.
Yeah. All right. So queer as fuck.
Back,
Fuck.
back,
Fuck.
back.
Queer as FAQ.
Yeah.
Queer as fuck.
What is our FAQ?
You all, we have a phone number.
Yeah, we have
So
a plug the phone number. Do you
yeah,
know it?
I do not know it by heart.
Uno momento, por favor. Hold, please. Do 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 do.
No, it's not it.
Do 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 do.
Okay, I tried to get guys a phone number that had a 69 in it. So our phone number
696 966
no, 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 no.
6968.
It's 805 669 6332.
And you guys can text us.
You can text us your questions anonymously or not. If you want us to be anonymous, just don't say anything. Just text us your question. If you want us to tag you or mention your name, you can write that for us. Again, the phone number is 805 669 6332.
And we're definitely going to post
And
it
you
all
can
over
also
the
call
place.
us, and there is a hotline, so it's always on and it's always going to go to message, and you'll hear my voice telling you to share your story. And so you can, in addition to send us on social media, if you feel that this is more private, you can do that. We will never disclose your phone number. Unless you, no, we're never going to disclose your phone number, but we will disclose your name if you want us to. Otherwise, we will keep you anonymous.
Yeah, their question is, how do I find a boyfriend and can you post my number online?
I mean, we can also do that for you guys
Yeah.
as a service PSA to the community.
We were literally talking about getting to the point of being able to do matchmaking via our
Oh my God, that
podcast.
will be so cool. But you need to be in therapy. We will only promote people
Yes.
that has been or is going to therapy.
Yeah, we're gonna need a signed note
You
from
can
your
from your
therapist
therapist.
that you're able to date. Permission to date. We need your permission
I
slip.
don't even know if I will get that from my therapist. My therapist will probably be like, I don't think you're quite ready, man. I
Yeah,
don't know.
opposite.
Anyhow, so one more time, 805 669 6332. Call us or text us. And we have a question which we had to rephrase so it would be understandable. So sorry,
Question sender, we
listener.
love you.
We love you, but we have to rewrite it to make sense of it. And the question is there anything about gay culture you consider toxic? And if so, how do you navigate it?
You or me first?
Well, I asked the question, so you should go first.
So, I would say that something I consider to be like a toxic thing in gay culture is like the like obsession with like physical aesthetics, and like what all that entails as far as like lifestyle stuff and this, that, and the other. And I navigate that by like words.
Can I ask for a clarification?
Yeah, go ahead.
You said you say aesthetics, but I think Because I know you. I think you probably mean a specific type of aesthetic, right?
Yeah, like having a very fit, toned,
Okay.
like lean body, whatever.
Yeah.
This like idealistic
The
version.
perfect influencer
Yeah,
trainer,
exactly.
yeah, look,
Yeah, like
usually on steroids or some sort of enhancing
w-
drugs.
well, like or like when you're just like scrolling through Instagram and you see like a picture and it's like 20 white guys who all look exactly
Yeah.
the
Well,
same.
with enhancing drugs,
Drug enhancing.
because you guys will have no idea how pervasive that is. And as someone that has used, uh, I would say that my physique did not change until I actually tried those things. And I was blown away because I had a perfect diet. I had incredible consistency at the gym for 10, 15 years, and I still could not reach my goals. And so once I actually tried that and my body shifted and changed, I realized, oh shit, so many people are doing these things and we don't know about it, and they don't tell you, and you assume that that's a natural body when in reality it's not, and it fucks with your fucking mind. So
Yeah.
the reason why I'm saying this, because that's another mask we wear this thing of like, oh yeah, this is like
This bodysuit.
this idea that this is all natural, and in fact it is not. And you try and you strive and you attempt to change everything about your life, and you still cannot reach those things. It's because it's not natural,
Yeah.
guys. So
It's a lot more common than you
yeah,
think,
it's
friend.
more common than you think. So
So, so the way that I navigate dealing with that is mostly just to be really kind to myself. I think
mm,
about the functionality of my body versus the
that's beautiful.
aesthetics. Like my desire, me going to the gym is not because I want to look a certain way. That's certainly like a nice component that comes out of it.
Hmm.
But I go to the gym because I want to remain as physically capable as I can for as long as possible, and I know that
That's
that
a
is
beautiful goal.
that's
Yeah.
achieved through working and moving your body.
And muscle mass.
Yeah, exactly, by building muscle mass. So the more muscle mass I can build, the longer physically happy I can be for the
Yeah.
rest of my life. And then it's a mental health thing. Like
It's absolutely.
it's
I go to
such
the gym so I can sleep at night. I told my friend this the other day. I was like, if I don't go to the gym, I will spiral so quickly. And even on days that I feel tired or that I spend the whole day doing self-care at home, I still will go to the gym and walk.
yeah.
Like literally just walk 15, 20 minutes. First of all, so I don't lose the practice of actually forcing myself to go to the gym, because
Hmm.
it's not an easy choice
No.
sometimes. But also because like then I will just be tired. I will be able to sleep without overthinking.
Yeah.
That alone is just so worth it. And all I think about is like, you want to sleep tonight? You should go to the gym and walk a little bit so
Yeah.
you're tired.
Yeah,
Otherwise, you're
exactly.
just gonna fucking spiral.
Well, exactly. I mean, we live such sedentary lifestyles. Like the American, its experience is built around you don't need to use your legs. Like, you
Yeah,
don't like you can
yeah.
just sit down in a chair
Oh my god,
all day
have everything
long.
delivered.
Yeah, you can have it delivered. You have to drive places.
Mhm.
Like you're sitting in a chair all day long.
Yeah,
So there's a lot of motivational reasons to go to the gym that have absolutely nothing to do with the way that my body physically
yeah,
looks.
yeah.
Um, and I navigated in other ways though too, because I think that a lot, and I've definitely been guilty of this in the past. I've definitely had like disordered eating habits.
Mm,
I think that it is like so I navigate that by having a completely unrestricted diet. Like if I want to eat something, I eat it. When I want to eat it. And I just am lucky enough to be an RD. So like there's so much information that is like in my head that goes into decision making subconsciously. So
mm.
it's like it's very easy for me to not like have a plethora of ultra processed foods in my diet.
Okay, so you allow, because I think I do this too. I do it more consciously. Like I don't keep any terrible foods in my house because I know that
Let's
it's
not say terrible, say ultra processed.
ultra
We don't
processed.
ask moral.
Yes.
We do not ascribe moral value to foods.
Yes. Okay, I like that. So ultra processed. Yeah, usually for me it's just like, yeah, things that I cannot like. identify as individual ingredients. Often,
Yeah.
like everything that I have is like a single thing. Like maybe I don't even think I have any protein bars in my house. Like maybe those like protein shakes that are pre-made. Like that's probably the most processed thing I have.
Yeah.
Everything else is just like in clear jars, and it's like single. It's like a single ingredient. Because I know that if I buy anything that I buy that is just extra delicious, like cookies or like brownies or cake or whatever, it's like it will last like a second.
Well,
Like
that's
I
because that's
have
how that
no
food is
self
designed.
control. I have no
It's
self.
not even a like and so I think that's
Mm.
something that a lot of people again, it's like something that like it's like weird because we don't want to accept it, but I think that we should accept it. We want to blame ourselves for like the overconsumption of ultra processed food. But
Right.
ultra processed
Yeah.
foods are designed
Yes.
to make you overeat
Yeah. The
them.
flavors that they literally have like flavor engineers that are like working
Make it
to
tastier. Make
to
it
make
tastier.
it more addictive
Yeah.
to your taste buds. Um, I do think that some people have self-control.
Well, because
That's a
some
real
people
thing.
well that the thing is that some people don't have the one, I think that various people have different food drives, and I think that
Yeah.
I think that there's like both an genetic factor there and an environmental factor there
Mm,
that can either
possibly. Yeah.
amplify it or tamp it down.
Yeah.
So there's that component. We all have different like degrees of food
Yeah.
drive. So some people it's stronger than others,
Yeah.
but I think that a lot of people are not actively like what you said, like doing keeping the things out of their household
That
or out
they,
of
yeah.
reach and
Yeah.
whatever what that way that means
Yeah, I
to like
cannot. No, no,
avoid.
no. There's nothing out of reach in my house. My house is my safe zone. Anything that is here should be available to eat to myself and anyone that is a guest in my house. I know for a fact that if I get my pint of coffee sorbet, that pint will be gone that night. And if I get 4 pints, those 4 pints will probably be eaten within the next 2 days, not 4 days, as I try to trick myself into believing it's like, oh, one per night. No,
Yeah.
that does not
But I
happen.
think that that's perfectly okay to do every now and then. Rare case.
Yes,
Yeah.
to the point that if I do it every time that I order, then it just becomes a new pattern.
Yeah.
And so then I can't do that. And so I only order 1 pint of coffee ice cream, especially when I'm cutting for summer, Speedos. Uh, I order one every like 2 orders that I place.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how I manage the control. But once it's here in the house, I don't want to restrict that. And
Yeah.
so it's more of a lifestyle sort of like hack that I do, because I don't if I buy the that pint, some people will be able to eat half one day and half in a week. I do not have
Yeah.
that
I
built
would
in.
say most people don't have that
Hmm.
willpower, probably not. But I think it's just that it's being aware of
Okay.
like your patterns and how to mitigate them.
Anyhow, how are we here?
We got really far into it was just a matter of me talking about how I navigate with the hyper toxic
Oh yeah, that was the question.
yeah, so I mean that was all. It was
Okay.
how I feel about the gym and how I feel about food.
Got it. So for me, I think like some of the toxic behavior, I mean, we talked a lot about this,
Some of
but
this already throughout the episode.
yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like I don't need to go back into the hookup or the
That's why I wanted to
connection
bring in something new.
thing. Yeah. But I would say perhaps alcohol and drugs. Um, I haven't drank in 4 years now. And I think at the beginning it was really hard, especially when I first moved to San Francisco. I think like I had this idea that in order to meet new people, I had to frequent bars, and in order to be in a bar, you have to consume alcohol. And then what that led to was to meeting people that drink, and so every hangout was
About drinking.
around drinking.
Yeah.
And then the pandemic happened, and I sort of connected with this group that were very physically active, and we were essentially they invited me to go work out at what is the name of that park? I forgot. outdoor park, and so we were all working out together. But the other side of this group is that they actually like to drink a lot, and it just never really click with me because I wasn't a drinker prior. Really, like I don't think I drank. I had issues with drugs in my 20s, but I never had like alcohol problems. Like alcohol was something I did not like. I did not enjoy.
Yeah.
I think I only started drinking like in my late 20s. I started drinking wine, and that I kind of acquired a taste for wine and food. And then that just kind of became like the only thing that I drank. And so like even when I moved here, like all I would drink was like wine or port, which so many calories, you guys. Like it was not a good thing, but like it was just like then like I had like I had like body dysmorphia, as you all know now by now. And then that just was not working pretty well because you cannot outrun the amount of alcohol I was having, like weekly, several glasses per week, like it's just kind of impossible
But you
'cause
can't really outrun alcohol at
in
all
general,
because your
yeah,
body doesn't process it as like usable calories.
right.
So the like
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
get it out and get rid of it just was a whole
Yeah,
different
it's like I
process.
mean, like you have like what 200 per glass of alcohol, at best, or maybe like
One gr
100 if it's vodka, I think,
yeah,
pure vodka without juice or anything.
every gram of alcohol is 7 calories.
I don't know what that means, man.
1
I
gram
don't
of
drink grams.
1
I
gram of
drink.
1 gram of fat is 9 calories, 1 gram of protein or carbs is 4 calories.
All
Just to
right,
put it all in
the
perspective.
dietitians to you all. I don't know how that translates to glasses. One glass.
Yeah, 1 glass.
One glass is
I don't know the grams of a glass. Also,
yeah, but the calories of one glass, I think like the lowest is vodka. I think it's
probably
97 for 4 ounces or something like that.
mm,
I just remember the whiter the alcohol, the less calories it had.
not necessarily true because bourbon doesn't have like significant. I don't know that bourbon has more calories than vodka.
Okay, we'll own that
I'm not
research
sure.
later. Yeah.
It
I
doesn't really matter.
doesn't matter. The point is,
It's all different flavors
you're
of
also not
poison.
just doing like 4 ounces. Usually if you're drinking more than four
Yeah.
ounces. You're trying to chase that feeling and maintain that feeling over time. And so if you're hanging out for longer times, you're like still drinking even after 2 or 3 glasses. And it's not only that, then after that, you feel like shit or you want to eat before bed, and then you end up eating like whatever late night food is available. And then it's just it kind of becomes a thing. And then the next day you feel like shit, you don't go to the gym, you need the whole day to recover, you end up like buying more comfort foods. And so to me, that was like a whole thing that I just was not mentally equipped to be able to be okay with my body, to be okay with falling off going to the gym, because that, like I said before, it is my mental health staple. And so um now I'm hanging out with this group that in some ways sort of tricked me in the fact that like, oh, we're all exercising together, so it's a healthy group. But then at the same time, then we'll just go out
Get
Friday, Saturday, and
blasted.
Sunday, and then get blasted, and then justify as like, well,
We worked
we
out.
work out all week, so like obviously we need to do this. And so, and it was kind of like this thing that it was just exhausting because like I had to work out really, really,
You're never
really hard.
resting.
I wasn't resting. I was consistently like going from like one extreme to the other
Yeah, like if
extreme.
your off days are just you drinking alcohol, you're
Yeah.
not getting in good
And I
rest.
was not enjoying I really was not enjoying myself. And then that's about the time when I was hanging out with I had this long-term relationship. This was like 2 3 years ago. And then that ended, and it ended in this beautiful way where like we didn't really fight. He just moved to another city, and so it ended well, but it destroyed me. Like
Yeah.
emotionally, I was just so sad for so long because there was not a single episode or event or
To
quality that
make you
I
like
could blame.
to make you
Yeah,
mad.
to be like, oh, this is the end, and like this is,
It's almost harder.
like I think it was way harder because you keep longing from it. And we also had like offsetted um healing time frames. And so like I heal first, like I went deeper into darkness first, and then I heal first, and by the time I was healing, he went into like super deep darkness because he kind of like he had a delayed response to it,
Yeah.
and then he went through it
Well,
and
because he
kind of
moved. He went to a whole new place. He had to like
right. There was
resettle,
so many
and so he
things
was
for
doing
him that
something
were new
else
and fresh for him. Well, I was just here without
in the
him.
same environment,
Yeah.
constantly reminded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so one of the ways that I process sad things is that I actually isolate myself, which I'm trying to be better. My therapist does not recommend this. But I do isolate from everybody, from all my friends. And so that was sort of the a catalyst that kind of removed me from that group that was born out of the pandemic and that we were so close to each other. I just couldn't see anybody. It wasn't anything specific about them. They're lovely people. We are still friends and we
You were
still,
just using a
we
coping
still see
mechanism.
each other on social media. I just essentially stopped going to that gym, seeing those people, going out with them. But it kind of sort of reminded me of like, oh, I don't want to drink. I don't need to drink. And in fact, because I was going through such a deep depression, I made a choice in that moment not to drink because
It would
it
make
would
it
have
worse.
exacerbated everything
Yeah.
else. And so I stopped, and that was 4 years ago. And then over the time, I made friends with this new group of like beautiful, colorful, loud Middle Eastern people. I started hosting usually just parties and then kind of morphed into our board game nights. And it just happens that even though like some people drink at these parties, it's just very casual. Maybe it's a seltzer.
Yeah. Nobody's getting
They
drunk.
are not really geared towards like, being drunk. And I guess like that has been the way. But like even when we go out with some of these people, like they're not big drinkers. And if they do drink, they have one drink. And the one thing that I noticed is that this group does not encourage me to drink. And one of the things that I didn't like about the previous group that I was friends with is that if I didn't drink, they felt uncomfortable and they will force me, oh, just one drink, just have one drink. It's just one drink, just one
I mean,
drink.
again, it's the same thing that I was talking
And
about
as
with.
soon as I did that one drink, the second drink was an easier yes. And then the third drink was definitely not even a
Yeah.
choice. And so I just continued drinking. And so, so yes, I made a choice not to drink, but then also like I feel like the environment sort of supported, the new environment supported me not drinking. And to this day, like if my friends are going to go get a drink at the bar while we're out, they will ask me what I want, and I'll say like just a water or like Gatorade if they had Gatorade, and like that's what they bring me. And like there's no discussion about it. Like I feel like, oh, this is so much more supportive of my environment. So to wrap that whole thing up, and it's the same with drugs. Like I have a love-hate relationship with drugs. Like I can uh probably fall deeper into heavier drugs easy, and so I have to refrain myself from doing lighter drugs so I don't go down the path where like I just end up doing like heavier drugs. And so I just don't do them, and I feel like my environment supports that. And so I think it's a matter of like navigating who is your environment, what is it that you want to accomplish, knowing yourself, going to therapy to understand what are also your destructive coping mechanisms. I have friends that struggle with alcohol, and we are sort of each other's support as well. And so making sure that you do have someone to be accountable for. One of these friends recently just sent me a message. It's like, hey, I know I haven't talked to you in a while, but I've been sober all this time, so I'm doing well. And I was like, oh, this is so great to hear. I've been sober too. So it's so good. And so we still sort of have this accountability partner at a distance, even though we don't talk that often. And so I think that creating those support groups, finding your people, finding, people that resonate with your values, but also people that might not be the same as you, but that they will respect who you are. I think that that's so fucking important.
Yeah.
And I feel so happy and so great about the community that I've been building around the board games and you and the podcast and like everybody that's just kind of sort of like around me right now. And I honestly can say that like it's one of the biggest investments that I made for my mental health and for my healthy patterns is to really choose who gets access to that group,
Yeah.
and it was a couple of trials. There were some rough patches with some people that I had to cut off, not because it was a desire, but it was just kind of like your values and my values are not aligning,
Yeah.
and your behaviors are creating mental tension for me. You cannot be in my inner circle. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, and so um sometimes that's the hardest part, I think, for toxic behaviors, because ultimately I don't want to paint the community as a whole as like, oh, everybody is doing this or everybody does these things. Yes, there are some patterns in the gay community, but there's also like bubbles of people. There's bubbles of people that love board games and being nerds and doing your thing with D&D.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
It's like get
your thing with the dice that the dice thing. And so like we can't really generalize. I think that again, if we really want to be seen as multifaceted people with more than one dimension, we also need to allow these generalizations to die off. Like
Yeah.
not everybody likes circuit parties and drugs and getting fucked in the alley. You know, that was very graphic. Sorry, guys. I don't know why I went there, but like, if you like getting fucked in the alley, I'm not yucking your yum. Please do it and do it, joyfully.
Yeah.
What I'm just saying is not everybody likes that,
And we
and
shouldn't have to contort ourselves to
yeah,
fit into that narrative.
yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
So I hope that answered the question. I think it did.
Yeah, it's a pretty
Someone's,
broad question. I think that there are lots
yeah.
of different responses, and I guess that we can maybe even like as for people who are listening, if you
If you have a
have,
follow-up
yeah, if you
question
if
to that,
or not even if
or
you have follow up,
specific.
or if you have something to contribute
Mm.
to that, like feel free to comment and
Oh my God, yeah. By all means, you guys, we don't have all the answers. We just have
we're
two
just two
points of views.
perspectives. Yeah.
Two points of views. And I would love to hear what everybody else think about these questions as well. What do you believe that are toxic behaviors?
And yeah, and if the chances are, if you share something with us that me and Dario are both like blown away by, we're probably gonna share it
Yeah,
online
we're
with
gonna talk about
everybody.
it. Yeah.
Like, we'll
Yeah.
again, we'll keep you anonymous if that's what you want, but um, like contribute to the collective.
Yeah. Text us, call us, leave messages,
Call us, text us,
reply.
beep us.
Yeah.
Wait, what is it? Call me, beat me if you want to reach me.
What?
Kim Possible, baby.
Send the smoke signals. I know smoke signals have been like on the rise since the conclave chose our new pope. So if you wanna send, if you wanna send smoke signals, please do. I think we've been recording for a really long time and we're a little bit delirious.
It's been
So
a long
we
time.
need to hydrate
We're gonna sign
and
off, folks.
we're going to sign off.
Well, you guys are about to hear our interview with our guest.
Right.
So I hope this has been a nice warm up to get
Yeah.
us there.
Yeah. And
And sit tight because it's a really good conversation.
it's a really good combo. All right. Thank you all. Thank you for listening. And we'll see you on episode 4, 8. I don't
Part
know.
1, 2, 3, and 7.
Whatever part that is, whatever episode that is. We'll see you then. Thanks for listening. Thank you for the feedback and thank you for the love. We appreciate you and we'll see you soon.
See you next time. Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning in to Live Laugh Loads. We want to try to keep episodes to about an hour and a half or so we're going to take a break here. Come take a load off with us next week and catch the next part of this episode.
You can listen to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and YouTube.
You guys can check us out on Instagram at livelaughloads.podcast, on Bluesky at livelaughloadscast, or look us up at livelaughloads.com.
Wait, that was 4 hours? No.
Dang, been here since 10 o'clock.
I know, but I enjoy having you around.
It's nice.